right, welcome back everybody. Gonna do a really quick update for you on Solana, ticker SOL. We're gonna dive into recent chart pattern analysis, price prediction analysis, and then touch on recent news and fundamental analysis. Gonna try to keep this around 10 minutes, hopefully under, so let's hop right in. First thing I want to note, just how we got here. This has been kind of a popular talking track so far with my videos recently. We've been seeing this 30 to 40% pullback on basically all altcoins here as it kind of retraced with Bitcoin. So a healthy retracement. As you can see, we tested this key support again, put it in, confirmed that support. That's at about $182. So that's a very strong, solid support to be putting in, especially as we move continually to the upside. As we move kind of closer to what we've been seeing the last couple weeks or so, if you look carefully, you can make the argument on the shorter term for a set of inverse head and shoulders here. This one, not so much. And usually that means a breakout to the upside short term. We did see that here, and we also saw that here. But that's not quite as important as what I want to point out to you guys now. So the more kind of solidified chart pattern that I'm seeing here is a double bottom. And typically when you see a double bottom, it indicates a bullish breakout if you break above the neckline. And what's so interesting about where Solana is and why I want to get this video out to you guys so quickly is we're at a critical point where the next key Fibonacci resistance level actually also lies at the double bottom neckline. So if we break this double bottom neckline, which is also this fib level at about 236, if we close a daily candle on top of this, that's when things are going to get really interesting. And then I believe once we clear 260, 259, that's when it gets really interesting, because this was our prior high here. So let's mark that. So this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because if we stand on this, put that in as support, then we're going to look to this. And once we break that, we start going into price discovery. And once Solana goes into price discovery, we usually know what happens. It likes to go parabolic. So let's talk a little bit about where we could see it going right now. First of all, just talking about where we've gone, because a lot of people are going to say, hey, we already had our run. But let's put this into perspective, right? I mean, this is, 30 to 35%, give or take, that we've run from our most recent low that we put in. If we look at this double bottom shape over here, if you guys can see that, and then if we measure this bottom to this top, it's about the same, 30 to 35%, maybe a little bit higher. So it's just on par for what we're looking at, right? It would be almost unnatural for us to just run, break through this resistance, and then hit that. It's good that we're finding this, because if we fight this and then convincingly break on top, that shows a lot of strength for the chart. So now that we're done talking about that, I just want to quickly talk about realistic short-term price predictions. So where we could be within the next couple months, weeks, and then we can talk about long-term. So short term, as I said, we're going to have to stand on top of 236 on the daily. If we do, our next target, in my opinion, is going to be at this previous high at 260. If we break that, I'm expecting that obviously we're going to fight some of these fibs, but I'm expecting that within the next couple months, if we convincingly break above this level within the next few weeks, I believe we could be playing between $324 and $412. And I think that this will be kind of our mid to early cycle consolidation period, because this is a very wide margin. So you could see, for example, Solana coming up after, let's say it stands on top of this fib, runs, another 30-40%, which is, I think, what's going to happen. Then we'll hit resistance at 324. If we pop above that, then it makes a lot of sense for Solana to be playing between here, maybe continue the parabolic run, another 30%, actually be more than that, 30 to 50%, and then, be kind of testing down here and maybe even find 324 support again. So in the next couple months, look for Solana to essentially go another 30 to, it'd be like 40 to 75% to come up here. So that's 40 to 75% from where we're at. I believe in the next couple months will be between 324 and 412 conservatively. So that is short term. And now I want to quickly break down long term. So obviously, I always like to, especially if you watch my channel, I always like to go back and see what we did before. The one thing that's really hard with Solana is that it just pumps so hard, just under 10x previously on this run back in July. And then we saw here, our most recent run was just under 100%. So, that's a 10x difference, almost a 9x difference. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to make a prediction based off of this 10xing, because Solana, in my opinion, given the market cap it's at, given how big the project has become, it's going to be a lot harder to replicate that growth and shoot all the way up to 2,300, 2,400 in this cycle. So let's talk about realistically what I'm thinking. I believe that we need to be looking more based on the Fibonacci extensions, and that would put us, somewhere between 700 and 800 bucks in here. I think really our key number, I'd like to see 800 bucks out of Solana. That would be putting us, a little under a 4x from here. I think we can, between 4 and 5x from here. I think 1,000 would be like our absolute top, in my opinion. Obviously, if more and more goes right for Solana, we're going to cover some of the fundamentals here for a second. I need to remind you guys, this is all based on TA, right? So I'm doing a conservative. I'm going based off what I see in the chart. The chart does take into account what happens in the news, but we can't necessarily predict what's going to happen in the future. So I think that conservatively long-term, we need to be looking more so between $700 and $800 as a realistic Solana end of cycle target. That's based on the Fibonacci extensions, the previous runs, and then also some of the supports we put in down here. So 700 to 800 long-term end of cycle without fundamentals, just looking at the TA, that's kind of what I'm thinking. With incredibly strong fundamentals, I think our top could be, $1,000. But obviously this is not financial advice. Always consult a financial advisor. But just to recap really quick before we run into the news, we need to stand, I cannot say this clearly enough, we need to stand on this 236 fib, because it not only represents a key fib resistance, it also represents the neckline to our double bottom. And to confirm a breakout out of a double bottom, you need to convincingly break above the neckline. In this case, it's going to be closing a daily or a couple 4 hours above this 236. Our next target is going to be between 253 and 255. If we break that, then guys, hold on to your seats. I think we're going straight up, to the 300-ish area. We're going to play within there, and then within a few months, hopefully be in this area between 324 and 412. So that's what I'm seeing. Hopefully that was helpful. Want to slide into some fundamental analysis really fast. First of all, Solana is huge. The marketing team has done an incredible job. They've built an incredible following in a short amount of time, a ton of different partnerships, and it's just so incredible to see how active the community is and how they treat the developers. So just wanted to mention that. Going off the developers, the dev ecosystem is exploding, and they keep putting out a bunch of different dev docs. They have so many resources for the developers, and it's showing. NFTs on Solana have gotten absolutely massive now, and what this tweet is basically saying is that there are now companies that are building on top of the hype of Solana NFTs by building a NFT app on top of the Solana blockchain. So what that allows people to build out NFT collections and sell them a lot easier. So not only are we seeing the NFT collections themselves build out the ecosystem, we're also seeing other apps that assist with that build on top of the ecosystem. So now we're seeing layers of projects, layers of a mini economy, mini ecosystem developing, which is really cool to see. And continuing on this trend of the devs, right? Look at this incredible activity. Solana essentially, and obviously Ethereum had the huge head start here. Solana's in blue. Just look at with how much of a head start ETH has had. Look how close Solana has gotten to daily dev activity here with Ethereum. I mean, it's a 4 to 5 year lead, and Solana blew past AVAX here, Near Protocol here in late 2020, and then has stayed clearly above, clearly the second most active dev activity 100-day rolling average by a long shot. So really cool. This means more devs are coming to the ecosystem, more apps are being built, and they're being built faster. And let's just take a look at the overall ecosystem for a second, and then we'll wrap up. It's been growing like crazy. It's over 500 projects. I swear they're probably adding 100 a month, maybe even more than that. And it's NFTs, it's dApps. There's a bunch of stuff going on the Solana ecosystem. So really cool to see it growing. I think, fundamentally it looks really, really good. Obviously there are some concerns about it being less decentralized than Ethereum. We can get into a Solana overview in a different video, but that closes it out for today. Hope this provided you guys some value. If it did, drop a like, really appreciate that. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks.